All right, hey, fellow life givers, how you doing? That's gonna be our new name, I think, for us in our youth ministry. You and I are fellow life givers. We're not sponsors. We're not ministers by name. We are life givers. That's what we're going to be about. Here's the reason for that. I want to wrap up. I want to use this video to wrap up kind of the two meetings we have. Share the vision, share the mission, share what Scott has been sharing with us, and what's going to be him. He's going to be sharing with you guys. Wrap this all up. I have a document coming with this. They'll have the questions for small groups, and that we talked about the last time, and then kind of lead off into what we're going to be doing these next couple of weeks specifically. So, as leaders, in our ministry, you guys kind of get a privy to what we're going to be going over through our church. And that is changing the new vision and mission of our church. It wasn't that the one we had was bad. It's just that it was way too long and not very succinct. And so we're changing it, and all of our ministries are going to be a part of it. And coming up, there's going to be a meeting in which we invite you guys to sit down with Scott. All of the leaders of the church are going to sit down with Scott and go over what this is. But you guys kind of get a heads up on this. And we talked about this in our sponsors meeting. And I just want to wrap it up so if you were there and you're trying to remember, also some of you guys didn't have a chance to be there, and that's fine. We'll catch you up, and we're really excited about this year. The vision for BCC is bringing life to our community. That's why we exist. So that's why our church exists. That's why our ministry exists. We're going to bring life to our community. What's our community? We are high school students. High school students in the Garden City, Holcomb, Ingalls, Greater Finney County area. That is our community. That's the community we're going to be praying about. That's our immediate community that we're going to be focusing on. Mission then is how we do that. The vision is really just for you guys. We're not going to communicate the vision to everybody in general because they're not going to understand it. This is for you guys to know why we exist and why we do what we do. The mission is how we're going to do it. And it comes down to this. We're going to know Jesus, we're going to share life, and we're going to make a difference. That's the three things that our church is going to be about. That's the three things that our youth group is going to be about. We want students to know Jesus. We want them to share life with us and with each other, and together with each other and with the community, we want to make a difference in their lives and with them in other people's lives. Okay, does that make sense? Know Jesus, share life, make a difference. We talked about that. It doesn't have to happen in that order. It may be that we make a difference together, share some life, and then know Jesus. So that can happen in any order, but that is how we're going to bring life to our community. So what we talked about in our meeting is that's got to be our dominant thinking every Wednesday night and nights beyond that. How are we bringing kids to a spot where they're getting to know Jesus? How are we teaching them Jesus? How are we introducing them to Jesus? How are we instructing them to know Jesus deeper? How are we sharing life with one another, with each other, with ourselves? How are we sharing life with them? Then how are we going to make a difference? Every night we want to be thinking about that. How are we doing these things? It'll be the thing that drives everything else we do. This is going to be the thing behind the thing. Knowing Jesus, sharing life, making a difference. We're going to say that over and over and over again until it just becomes every bit of who we are. Okay. When you do this, though, the question kind of comes down to how do we measure it? Okay. How do we know we're doing it well? And there's two things that we want to measure by. Are we creating experiences, and are we sharing stories? And here's the deal. Are we creating experiences with knowing Jesus, sharing life, and making a difference so that there are stories to share? Stories that you guys have about interactions with students. Hey, so-and-so, he just got it about Jesus tonight. Or he asked this amazing question about Jesus. Sharing life. This happened with us in our life group. This happened with us. We went out to Dairy Queen, and this is what went on. We're sharing stories, and that's what I'm going to be asking you guys, and expecting of myself also, that week to week, month to month, I want us to be able to share stories with one another about students. Okay, that's kind of be our marker that lets us know, hey, we're getting this done. I want stories about knowing Jesus. I want stories about sharing life. I want stories about how we're making a difference. Okay, and I want you to be asking me for my stories with students and with our ministry. And that the stories come out of creating experiences. So every Wednesday night, we're going to be focusing on how am I creating an experience that's going to lead our students to know Jesus? How am I creating experiences that are going to lead them to share life? How am I creating experiences on a regular basis that's going to help them to make a difference? That's what's going to drive everything we do through the youth group year, through every Wednesday night, and beyond that. And that way we know that we're going to bring life. That's how we're bringing life, and we're going to be focused on that. Speaking of the year, our year's theme, and I'm not sure if this is going to be a full year theme. It may end up going first semester and then modifying it through the rest of the year. You're doing the wrong thing. YDTWT. Hashtag YDTWT. You're doing the wrong thing. We're going to have a lot of fun with this. And just a second. Some of that fun is going to involve a lot of multicolored headbands. All right. We are going to look at a lot of our Christian life, a lot of our faith, and some of the things that we do, and how maybe our focus is off. We want to do two things. We want believers, those who know Christ already, to have the right focus when it comes to worship. What are we focused on in worship? Are we focused on who God is, who God really is, his character, his attributes, all of him? Or are we focused on style and feelings? It's not that feelings aren't necessary in worship. They're a part of worship. But does it all come from feelings? Is it all just about feeling good? Or is there some deeper part of worshiping God? We're going to be looking at prayer. We're going to be looking at who God is. We're going to be looking at the gospel and how we're doing it wrong. The other part is for those who don't yet know Christ. And we want them to see what we're really about as Christ followers. We want them to see that we're just a messed up group of people, and we're struggling with this, and we have questions also. We don't have all the answers, but we know who does, and it's God, and we're just going to be pushing that all year long. So that they understand who this Jesus is and what he's really about. And we're going to have a lot of fun with it. We already have video shot, and we're finishing it up Thursday for the first kind of intro into youth group, where I get interviewed by Batman at Patrick Dugan's. It ought to be hysterical. And then there's one coming with Batman shooting headbands at people. These are the headbands. This is one color. On all the headbands, they're going to be embroidered on it. I'm hoping to get them embroidered. Hashtag YDTWT. This is going to be kind of our marker all year long. Everyone's going to have a headband. Everyone's going to wear them every Wednesday night. The worship team is going to wear them, and it's going to be kind of a part of what we are. It's just kind of a way of marking things. Headbands right now are a big thing. There's a lot of stuff going on with them, so this will be culturally right relevant with what's happening. Speaking of worship team, that's one of the things we have this year. It is a very, very good worship team. So we're going to be worshiping almost every night, song-wise. We're creating a lot of excitement on our Facebook and what's happening. We got another video with these that's going to be happening with Batman and some stuff, talking about you're doing the wrong thing. And so just going to be praying about all of that, okay? That really encapsulates kind of our first sponsors being just really laying out our vision, our mission, how we're connecting that to our youth group. And then our second one, let me put up my other big post-it note here. Our second one meeting, we're really kind of hammered on how are we going to begin doing this. We're going to talk about this all year long, guys. One of the things we talk about is having a monthly monthly life giver get together. Okay, I think Vance, if you and Tara are still okay with it, Tara, I'm asking you as much as I'm asking Vance, making sure it's okay. We'd like to meet the first Sunday of every month, and I like to do it at our houses. Okay, there's something that we all need to share some life together, so that we can support one another, so we can be praying for one another, not only for youth group but just for life in general. Please keep each other in prayer, and I think we're still good for the first Sunday. I believe that's the 7th, and I'm hoping that we can have that out at the Kells' house, and we'll get more information to that. That way we can go over our kickoff and talk about specifically our first night, the 10th, and what's going to happen that night. So a couple things that we're changing. Several nights a month, we have our middle school be coming up and worshiping with us. I hope to have 80 to 100 kids up there worshiping. I think it's going to be fun bouncing around and jumping, and the worship team's getting prepared for that. We do have some special guests coming along, the exercise experts, who's going to be instructing us throughout this first semester. Obviously, we're in headband and doing things wrongly, so it ought to be really fun. So how are we doing this? How are we starting off our night? One of the things, in keeping with this idea of our vision and the language of it, we're changing the name of our small groups to life groups. It's just about using the right language. Okay, we want people to we want to hear life all the time. That's why I'm naming you guys and myself. We are life givers. That's going to be our job for youth group, is to bring life to these students. Okay, and we're going to begin with our core students, which is our life group students. Okay, and that's why I have them here. Right outside our core students, then we have our regular tenders who are not yet in a life group, and we'll talk later about intentionally getting them in here. Russ, keep pushing me on that. Okay, I appreciate your heart for getting those kids involved, and we want to do that. And I think I have a couple ideas, but we'll talk about that and kind of communicate on that together in our next couple of meetings. So how do we focus on these core kids? The three things. Remember that. Okay, with them, we want them to know Jesus. We want them to share life. We want them to make a difference. Okay, specifically, I think we talked mainly about knowing Jesus, and the thing that I want to see us do is translating, or I don't know if translate is the right word, but bringing what we teach, the worship, the game, the message, all that, bringing that home into your group and applying it. And the best way that happens is with questions from you guys. Kirk had the best question of the night, maybe the best question of the year, and that is asking your students, what did Chad get wrong? I love that question. Here's the deal. You guys got to be asking, we got to be asking our students deeper questions than just how is the week going. Okay, we need to be asking it. We need to be building the relationships. But we need to be pushing these core kids in our life groups. A couple I wrote down here. How are you going to respond? What's going to be the difference? Here's what we want. Here's what we talked about. We want to build conversations around what their knowledge of Jesus is. We want to hear about their doubts. We want to hear about their questions. We want to hear about what they believe and what they don't believe. Okay, we have kids in our life groups who don't yet know Christ, and we've got to be pushing them into, why don't you believe? And hey, let's begin conversations so that maybe we can bring you to believing. Okay, so the Spirit can work on you, and we need to be pushing that. Our kids that do believe, especially our kids that grew up in church, we need to be pushing their buttons a lot. Why do you still believe it? We want them. I think we really talked about when they leave high school, we want them to walk out, and I've already tried to be as prepared for the questions and doubts as possible. I think that's one of our core, one of our biggest dynamics for our core kids. I want to hear stories coming back from graduates about how they went to college and they were questioned and they were challenged on their faith, and they knew how to deal with it because we had already challenged them. That'd be the ultimate story for me. I think that's the ultimate story for our ministry, is that when they come back, they say, you know what, I was challenged in my faith, but I knew how to deal with it because you guys had already challenged me. I think that's the story and the experience we want to see coming back from those kids. I'm going to have a document, a shared document, coming with this video, and it is going to have a list of the questions we come up with, and I want you to add to that. Okay, it's be one that I'll share, and you can edit and you can change. And so I want you to put as much in there, and I'm going to create a card, a laminated card of all these questions, so that you guys have them on a nightly basis. I'm pushing time here. I want to keep this. I'm already at about 16 minutes, and I don't want to go much longer than that. Here's the thing: I would love to get together with you guys on our email. I'm sending this one. I'm hoping to get together this Wednesday night. It's short notice for some of you guys, and I apologize. I promise to be better at getting communication out to you guys. We're gonna have a prayer night this Wednesday night from 7 to 8:30. It's just I'm inviting everybody up. I did on Facebook, inviting everybody up to just basically pray for this upcoming year. I'd like to get together with anybody who can from 6 to 7 to work over a few more things. So be looking for that, be planning for that, and I'll send those details out in the email that this goes out with. Thanks, guys. I love you. I appreciate all you do. Praying for you.